Hey guys, what's up? It's Overshadow1990, and I'm bringing you this Decklist update. A couple of people have actually wondered, what this deck did, how it's run, what's in it, why, and yeah, it's actually pretty fun. It's a Gemini deck. Right now, the main card is actually Phoenix Gearfried, because in Order of Chaos, which comes out next month, is a dragon, and same as Darkstorm Dragon. It's like Phoenix Gearfried. Phoenix Gearfried, when he gets his Gemini effect, he sends one face-up equip card I control to negate the activation of a spell or trap to target a monster on the field and destroy it. It could be a monster on yours, or mine, or whatever. He'll just negate it and say no. Now, I'm holding the camera because I was too lazy to get my tripod out, and it's 1:20 in the morning, and I just want to hurry up and get this video out of the way. Basically, with Darkstorm Dragon and Supervise, I can go into a rank 8 exceed even easier than what I can now. Let's see, so far we got 2 Phoenix Gearfrieds. I'm trying to do my best to hold the camera, so I apologize if it moves around a lot. And yeah, let's see, where's the microphone? Microphone's on the top, so I don't want to cover that. Cool. 2 Phoenix Gearfrieds. 2 of your beaters, 2 level 8s, trade in, Supervise, Swing of Memories, everything. And he's a normal monster in the grave, so that's why you'll see 3 copies of Blue Eyes, because Blue Eyes is the strongest level 8 normal monster in the game. Simple enough. And plus, Blue Eyes Ultimate, which is also a normal monster, I can Swing of Memories or have it come back by Supervise. 2 copies of Justinian the Emperor Dragon, your secondary main beater of the deck. If he has his Gemini effect, he can attack twice. So yeah, he's ridiculous. He's sometimes better than Blue Eyes because he can do 48 instead of doing the 3,000 Blue Eyes can do. 2 copies of Evocator. Reasons being, with Supervise, he destroys cards. Basically, the deck needs to revolve around Supervise. If not, then I do have other means of being able to bring out my Gemini effects and dealing damage whatsoever. 2 Toon Magicians. I can use him or her for level 8 synchros or level 6 synchro. The only one I'm actually missing is a Brionac, so you'll see the extra deck in a minute. 2 Blazing Butterfly. When he gets his Gemini effect, tribute him to get a Gemini monster from your graveyard with his Gemini effect. Now you do let's say, for example, you say Future Fusion, you target Super Alloy Beast Raptinus. It's the fusion monster that supports for Geminis. Basically, it gives Gemini monsters their Gemini effects automatically, well, as long as it exists on the field. It goes to both sides of the field. Let's say Future Fusion, dump Toon Magician, and let's say Justinian Emperor Dragon, because we're going to need trade-in targets, so you're going to keep 2 Phoenixes. Summon him, play Supervise, tribute him to get Toon Magician to get his tuner ability, because when it's Gemini summon, it counts as a tuner monster as well. Sorry for the lighting here. He'll get his Gemini effect. I can sync for 8, or if I need to, I can overlay for a rank 4 like Utopia. I only have so much space, so I had to put Utopia in case for stall reasons, and plus he's really brawling. My only other option for right now with him would either be a Kachi Kochi Dragon, which is not out just yet. And basically, it's a rank 4 exceed. When it attacks, it's a dragon. 2100 when it does damage. When it attacks a monster and destroys it, you can attach 1 attacks again in a row. Or my choice would have to be, my more ideal choice would be Gemini Pearl, which is a rank 4 normal exceed monster who is at 2600. Basically, he's your Swift Gaia. No, he's your Gaia Knight, the Force of Earth for exceed. 2 Featherizers. What this does is it gets killed in battle, and I send 1 Gemini from my decks to the grave, and then I draw 1. This has so many pluses, it's ridiculous. And lastly, Morphing Jar. So it's about 16, 17 monsters. Now it's at the spells. As you can see, 3 copies of Supervise. Supervise gives a Gemini monster its Gemini effect. Now, you can equip it to a Gemini monster that already has its Gemini effect. And if this does get blown up while the Gemini monster has its Gemini effect properly summoned, because you have to actually perform a normal summon and waste your normal summon to get a Gemini monster to get its Gemini effect, unless you use Supervise. However, if you properly Gemini summoned it and you played Supervise went to the graveyard, the Gemini monster still retains its Gemini effect because it was properly summoned. When Supervise is sent face up when it's sent face up to the graveyard, I get one normal monster and my grave and special summon it. This works with every monster in here except for the 2 Featherizers and Morphing Jar. 2 Gemini Sparks basically attribute a level 4 Gemini monster. Destroy 1 card on the field and you go +1. It's actually a really funny card. 2 Swing of Memories, because lets you get back all of your targets if necessary. Actually, it was a 3. I meant to say 3, not 2. Sorry. Your limited cards, your Dark Hole, your Heavy Storm, your Monster Born. And now, I actually only run 1 Pot of Duality, even though I can run 2. I've actually tried it on Dual Network. It actually runs really well with 2, but I prefer 1 because I always get it first hand. Like, every time I've played somebody, I've always gotten it first hand. It's ridiculous. 2 trade-ins, because you got 5 targets. You got your 2 Blue Eyes, and you got your 3 Blue Eyes and 2 Phoenix Gearfrieds. I apologize, I'm horribly tired, and I just came home from a family reunion type thing at my grandmother's house. So yeah, 1 Future Fusion, so you can either choose 5-head Dragon and send 3 Blue Eyes and 2 Chthonian Emperors, or in this case, when I do get the card, it being the 2 Dark Storms and your 3 Blue Eyes, or 2 Chthonian Emperors, 2 Dark Storms, and a Blue Eyes. Or you can say for Super Alloy Beast Raptinus or Blue Eyes Ultimate itself. Dragon's Mirror to get any of that out, because let's face it, you're not actually going to be able to properly get out. You're not going to be able to actually get out any of the cards set above, unless you Dragon's Mirror something. To the traps, you've got 2 Compulse. Yes, this deck is actually a very counter-heavy deck. It plays similar to a meta, and it swarms almost like it plays very similar to an anti-meta, I should say, and it swarms almost somewhat to a meta. It's actually a very tech-heavy deck, which is something that I like to do. I like to play very tech-heavy cards. 2 Bottomless Eyes, sorry I forgot to mention, and 1 Torrential, and 1 Starlight Road. I would actually purposely have my own cards get blown up. Like if you have 1 monster more than me, and now let's say for example I have 3 monsters, and I just happen to have Gemini summoned 1 of them. I'm going to say Torrential on purpose, and then Starlight Road, just so that I can get Stardust Dragon. Yes, I am actually that reckless. Speaking of, no pun intended, 2 Reckless Greed, because you need some type of draw power, and believe me, this deck can draw. I'm actually missing 1 of my cards, which gets me kind of upset, but I'm not worried about it. 2 copies of Magic Dream, because let's face it, this card is awesome. I would actually probably switch it for Magic Jammer, but I like it right now because I want to make you burn your cards. Malfunction. It's a much better card than 7 Tools of the Bandit, and I'm not surprised that a lot of people don't know what this card is. It comes out in Structure Deck 09, which is the Dino Structure Deck. Basically, you pay 500 life points, and you return a trap card when it activates to its original position. For example, let's get out Reckless Greed. Let's say a much better example is Solemn Judgment, because I did this on Dual Network with somebody and actually hurt them severely. I'm playing on Gear Town deck, and I went to Swing of Memories my Blue Eyes White Dragon call for game. He said no. He said Solemn Warning. Okay, cool. I said Malfunction. Pay 500, set it back face down. When the card is set back face down, you cannot reactivate, because that's making it seem like it was originally set that turn, and you can't activate a card that was just set. It kills Starlight Road. We can actually MST it later or anything like that. The lighting looks really horrible. Let me finish. He went to do that, and then he said, okay, Solemn Judgment, my malfunction. Then I had another malfunction. I said, set that back face down. And he wound up with 3,000 life points, and then I hit him for game. It was ridiculous. Let's go to the extra deck. As you can see, I have a 5-head dragon, because I can fuse for 5-head dragon if needed. We only got 1 copy though, because that's all you really going to need. 1 Blue Eyes Ultimate, simply because, like I said earlier, he is a normal monster. People forget that. I can have Supervise go off and he comes back in the grave if he was properly fusion summoned. And he always will be properly fusion summoned because I have Dragon's Mirror and that. And this is probably one of the more advanced tech cards in here. This is Dragonite Draco Equise. It needs a Dragon Synchro monster and Warrior type monster. Basically, this can kill anything really. It's a 32 beat stick. His effect is I can remove a Dragon Synchro monster in either player's grave. It just says in the grave, so it goes for either player's grave. He gets his name and effect till the end of the turn, and I can choose when to actually end it before the end of the turn. However, he also, when he's in attack position, any effect damage I'm supposed to take goes to you instead. So, for example, I attack with him, Magic Cylinder goes off. You're gonna take the effect damage and negate his attack. Okay. They got 2 copies of Super Alloy Beast Raptinus. Basically, this is the Dragon Fusion support for Geminis. Now, the Synchro Fusions, the Synchro support for them is known as Blackroot Drago. It needs 1 tuner and 1 or more Gemini monsters. It's a very easy thing to do, like I said, with the Blaze Wing Toon Magician combo. And his effect is ditch 1 Gemini from your hand to destroy 1 spell or trap on the field. When he is destroyed as a result of battle, when he is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, I apologize. When he's destroyed and sent to the graveyard, meaning he was dark holed, attacked, anything, special summon 1 Gemini from your graveyard and it gets its Gemini effect. Now, people have used Doom Shaman and Ill Blood and Gigaplant to go into those crazy, nasty level 8s and all that all the time, but I prefer to do it my way because it feels a little bit easier to me. Stardust Dragon, 2 copies of Stardust Dragon because we have Starlight Road, and let's face it, you just need that second Stardust in case the first one gets run over horribly. 1 Red Dragon Archfiend because he's just that badass. 1 Colossal Fighter because let's face it, you do have warriors in here. You have 2 Evocators. At most, you're really not going to see the Phoenix Gear Freeze because you probably have removed them or did something else, as I'll show in a minute what you can do with them. 1 Gaia Knight, the Force of Earth. I always called this guy Swift Gaia because I just can't help it. Swift Gaia is a funny card to me. He's vanilla. He's 2600 attack points. He's level 6. You can, yeah. Which came out in Photon Shockwave is this rank 8 Exceed called Thunder End, and it needs 2 level 8 normal monsters. Now with this deck, I told you I can do the gayest of gayness with Dark Storm Dragon when it comes out, because like I said, I can use this Heavy Storm effect, get another level 8 monster back, rank 8 Exceed, and then activate his effect to detach 1 and destroy all other monsters other than himself and punch for a free 3000. Now let's face it, if I can muck up your field, if you have like set 4 and other random stuff, if I can muck up that field, you're hurt next turn. And I have 1 Utopia. The only other card that I'm really missing, like I said, I would probably swap him for Gemini Pearl, but I'm not going to because he still works at this moment. 1 card I'm missing is actually Brionac, because let's face it, you're going to tend to get a dead hand sometime soon, and Brionac will save your ass. The side deck now. It's got 2 copies of Dark Valkyria. Usually, game 2, I like to side these in with Chthonian Emperor. For Chthonian Emperor, because let's face it, this is Gemini. When she gets her Gemini effect, she gets 1 time only to put a spell counter on herself, gain 300 attack points, and she can remove that spell counter to destroy a monster on your side of the on your opponent's side of the field. Now, let's say Supervise gave her Gemini effect, and Supervise went to the graveyard later. Next turn, I'll normal summon her and then blow up another monster because I can do that, or swing her. She's just that awesome. Yeah, I've heard several people with this card. Consecrated Light. This card, this format is funny. It stops all dark monsters, really, except for, like, Grapha when he gets discarded and anything like that. But let's face it. He comes out, Infernities are not coming out, Black Wings are not coming out. Anything with dark monsters are not coming out against you, and it hurts people severely. I have 1 Unleash Your Power as tech because, let's face it, if I have 3 Gemini monsters on the field and they don't have their Gemini effect, I can play this, they all get their effects, and they get set face down at the end of the turn. I'm not worried about it because next turn I can just flip them up and properly normal summon 1 of them again or something. One double summon, simply because if I need to go into a first turn Gemini summon, I'll do it. 2 copies of Shrink, because let's face it, your monsters are not all that powerful. You do have a couple of beaters in here, like your Toon Magicians and Evocators, but let's face it, if you can't get them out, you're going to need Shrink to not only decrease your your opponent's attack, or not even, let's say for example, you summon one of your beaters. They're about to get bottomless. You play Shrink, they're not going to get bottomless anymore because the target was lost. And also 1 copy of Dark Dust Spirit, because he is just, I'm really focused on killing your top row, so yeah. 2 Threatening Roar, because let's face it, if I need to change up game 2 how offensive you are, I'll be equally defensive and you can't get by me. 2 copies of Non-Aggression Area. Basically, during my standby phase, I activate this, I discard a card, you can't summon, period. You can't normal summon, special summon, set, flip summon, no, you cannot summon at all. This is Cold Wave for my opponent's monsters until their next turn. This will brutally lock them, meaning your opponent's not dropping their JDs, they're not dropping their BLSs, they can't drop their Gores, they can't drop Trago, they can't drop anything. And 2 copies of Out of the Blue. Now, this card came out in Extreme Victory. What this card does is, it says, if your opponent activates a card or effect that targets a card in a graveyard, or is destroyed by this effect and sent to the graveyard, destroy it when it gets, it says, destroy this card if your opponent activates a card or effect that targets one in the graveyard, card or cards. When this is destroyed by this effect and sent to the graveyard, my opponent shuffles all their cards into their deck. This hurts Light Sworns. Anything with a Light Sworn engine, this rapes it miserably, because JD won't be able to come out, BLS can't come out, you're screwed, because everything goes back into, yeah, it recycles your opponent's cards, but let's face it, if it stops you from getting gamed, I do it. If it stops you from getting gamed, I do it. I'd say, Out of the Blue, go. Guys, that's all I got to really go for. This is the deck. This is Dragonic Phoenix. It's actually being currently upgraded, like I said, when Order of Chaos comes out. But in the meantime, feel free to check out any of my other deck lists, as well as duel videos I have currently put up. There will be more in the future, obviously. With that, I will just say, see you later, and good night.